Hey, how's everyone doing? Okay, so I got my friend here again.
What's up, everybody? It's veteran Weeb, RR Boss Sakaki.
And we're gonna be talking about some anime that we watched. Yeah, so let's see. First, Bleach.
Yes, of course. So, let me get your thoughts on that first, because I'm curious, because it was the second episode that came out, right?
Okay.
So this is going to be, I think it's 12 or 13 episodes for the season, but...
Okay, so first,
Yeah.
I like the intro. We finally got the intro,
We
right?
finally got it.
Yeah,
and
and I
was
liked it.
alright, that's cool.
I like the music. It was super catchy.
Yeah.
So, I know I've only watched up to like season 3 or 4,
Uh-huh.
and it's been so long since I watched it and remember it. Was it always this bloody?
No.
It was super dark. I'm like,
Definitely
oh my
not
God,
like that.
people are just. Oh my gosh. Okay, it got
Yeah.
super bloody.
Yeah, I mean, well, so originally the first part of the series, right? It was heavily edited because of the time slot that it was airing in Japan. So,
okay.
you know, stuff like around prime time, 6 p.m. or something like that. So they had to have heavily edited it. And,
Gotcha,
that kind of thing. So it wasn't like that. But right now in Japan, it's airing at around midnight. So essentially, when Attack on Titan aired,
They can
right?
finally like go all out.
Yeah, so they don't have to worry about any editing anything, censoring or whatever. But so that's the reason why it's pretty bloody, to be honest.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so it's called 1,000 Blood War.
Yeah,
and I understand why.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna understand even more when you see more. It's good. I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but well, granted, you probably saw the promotion video for it, right?
Oh yeah.
And you saw like how bloody it really got in some of the promotional videos. So.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Fight scenes were good. They
Yeah.
were well animated. I'm still digging the animation. Animation's really good.
Yeah, the Sakuga is pretty good in the sense of like how smooth and how it flows for the animation. So, you know, Studio Pierrot is doing a pretty good job compared to what they did before, because they're the same studio that did the original anime. But I guess, you know, it's been over 10 years since, you know, the anime, right? So I guess they improved. So a lot of people were skeptical because, you know, studios like Studio Mappa and Studio Wit, they're very well known for, you know, how fluid their animations are, right? So I wasn't expecting Studio Pierrot of all studios to actually make that kind of a jump in terms of animation quality.
What other animes have they done?
They've done a lot of the mainstreams, I guess you could say, but primarily I think it's Bleach. I don't really know off the top of my head, but you can refer to My Anime List or you know, one of those websites where you can see the
list
the
of stuff they
detail
worked
of
on.
so like who works on what studio, who the cast are, so you know. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting in the sense of, you know, how they're adapting it, because there are some cuts, I will say, and then there are some additions, because I think they're essentially expounding upon the fight scenes, whereas compared to the manga. So that's where some of the differences are going to be. But yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty good for this, and I did like the opening. I'll say this: the opening, for me personally, it wasn't as great as I thought it would be.
Oh,
it's good.
Give it time. Oh,
Yeah,
it'll grow on
it'll
here.
grow. I mean, granted, it's probably going to change when the other cores or you know, seasons come out. But what caught my attention was the ending theme song. But I think we'll get to
Yes,
that.
I actually liked it too.
Yeah, we'll get to that after we discuss a little bit more about Bleach. But yeah, I mean, you know, the episode was pretty good in terms of the adaptation, and you know, it's showing the start of the war, right? So Ichigo's in Hueco Mundo, and essentially he's trying to find out what the threat is, right? He wants to essentially confirm whether or not is it really Quincy, because the only Quincy that we knew up until this point was Uryu Ishida, right? And we thought him and his dad were the only last Quincy's, right? So there's that whole perspective, but you know, he just wants to confirm that's the case. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, going back to just quickly about the Bleach, when I mentioned about the ending theme song, one thing I noticed was that there's a lot of alluding to Kubo's poetry. So a lot of people don't really know this, but Kubo wrote like a lot of poetry for Bleach.
Oh.
So as you see at the end of the videos or the end of the episodes,
Yeah.
you see this poetry at the end of it, right?
Yes.
So
that's something that I noticed.
yeah, and I don't know why they didn't do it in the first series, but he was very well known for his poetry in that perspective. So, having said that, Senna Rin, who does the ending theme song, I forgot what the composer's name was, but you can take a look on YouTube and see some of the details. But you know, that composer essentially took some of the inspiration of the poetry that Kubo wrote and made a song so that Senna Rin can actually make that song.
Oh, okay.
And that was like, I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Because
I didn't know that.
you took something from original, like what Kubo wrote, and then you're putting it into a song. Like, I don't think I've ever heard of any other anime doing that like that. You know, so I'm like, oh, okay. And integrating that, because like it's not a one-to-one kind of, you know, quote from the poetry that Kubo did.
Gotcha.
Right? But it is an allusion to it in the sense of, you know, you can get that kind of connection to it, I guess you could say, or association, because based on the lyrics, I should say, it's kind of close to it. So I was surprised by that. I was like, okay. And I do like the beat and, you know, theme, but so I was like, okay, yeah, you know. But
yeah, Bleach was good. Now let's talk about Chainsaw Man.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the episode, and my feelings are it felt a little slow, but that's expected because they're still fleshing out characters and story and motivations, so that's okay. A lot of people I've read on Twitter that this was really slow. They wanted more action, and it was a weird cut that didn't get to the Muscle Devil right away.
Well, I mean, it's one of the big IPs now, right? So you don't want to rush some of the things.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
they can't just go into the next big fight.
Right.
They need to work up to it.
Yeah, you gotta introduce and get the characters up, and because we got an introduction to Power, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I was like, okay, this is a good introduction for her to get in, but, yeah. So, you know, I've actually almost caught up to the manga right now, so I can say that. But, so the story is now. Yeah, I appreciate the way that they're adapting it, and I did see the ending for that as well, the theme song. So it did confirm, like what we talked about from last time, that each ending theme song is going to be different, or at least maybe the visuals.
I actually like this one a lot. The ending theme for this was really good. It was really catchy.
True.
Gotta look for it, the full version.
I think you should be able to find it, but I know Mappa. Yeah, so I know that they have on their official channel, they have the TV side version of the ending theme song, but the full version,
the opening,
you might see something similar from the YouTube algorithm in the sense of, oh, okay, here's the full version of the song. Because that's how I found the full version of the Bleach song.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know about like the artists that sang for that specifically, but it was still pretty good. I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if the next one is going to be the same song or just straight up the visual is going to be different. You know what I mean? But we'll find out next Tuesday. So.
Oh yeah, gotta wait on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is another anime that I've been watching.
Oh yeah.
With my wife.
Okay.
It is the one about the girls camping.
Oh, are you talking about Yuru Camp?
Yes.
Ah, yes. Such a comfy anime.
Yes, it is. It's really good.
But it's also practical because they actually teach you stuff.
There's little camping tips and stuff in there.
Yeah.
And the first couple episodes, they're going winter camping.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of, winter. It's coming, it's cold.
That's true.
And it just brought flashbacks of winter camp when I went with church groups. But yeah, my wife really likes it. She thinks it's super cute.
Okay.
So it's the anime we're watching together.
True.
It's fun times. I love it.
Yeah.
I think we're on episode 4, but it's really good. Anyways, that's what I've been watching. Anything you've been up to? Anything you've been watching?
I've obviously been watching pretty much all the seasonal stuff. Mob Psycho season 3. I've been watching that, so it's been pretty good so far. It's only 2 episodes so far, but Yeah, it was just, the daily life of Mob and, the kind of things that he's having to deal with in that perspective. So I'm not sure where it's going because I never read the manga either for One Punch Man or Mob Psycho.
Okay.
But I mean, they're both the same author.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's why I heard it's really good.
Yeah.
I always wanted to watch it, but I never got a chance to.
Oh, yeah. But I mean,
Maybe
it's
give
pretty
it
good.
a watch someday.
Yeah, sure. Aside from that, there were some episodes that I missed, like from last season, so I was catching up to those, like Overlord season 4. So I hope this is like another season for that. Is where they left it off was kind of cliffhanger, I guess. And then there's some other things. I think I remember I finished Licorice Recoil recently. Whenever I have the time to be able to finish up the things that I didn't, finish up on. But I also finished up Classroom with the Elite season 2, something like that. But yeah, other than that, I'm trying to think what else was essentially streaming now. Well, I think Spy Family is on. Right?
Oh yeah. So I was actually watching it, and my wife was in the room, and she was watching it also. And she's like, "This anime is really good," and she's never watched it, and she's like, "We should watch it from the beginning." Yeah. So now I'm watching the whole thing from the beginning because of her. Oh my god.
Oh gosh.
I'm rewatching Spy Family and trying to catch up on my own time. Yeah, so that's happening with Spy Family and
me. Gotcha. Oh, and My Hero Academia. Granted, a lot of the anime are kind of, how would I say this, are being overshadowed because of Bleach.
Yeah, so I've kind of fallen off of My Hero.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'll get back into it, because right now there's a bunch of anime just waiting on my watch list.
Yeah. I mean, I'll keep up with it when I can, but the thing is, like, I don't know if everybody knows about that, but before Bleach even aired, it was causing a stir in Japan because it was getting all the big name actors for the voice acting. Mm-hmm. And people were complaining over there because they were like, at least the other studios, they were like, yeah, there's some recordings where they had 80 people recording for one episode of Bleach. And that was like, that's affecting all the production for all the other anime. So it's like, it's a pretty big title because, like we discussed before, Bleach is one of the big three, right? Yeah. So, and, sure, and we went into a little tangent, and One Piece is still going on, which I haven't been watching the anime lately because I've been reading the manga, but I heard the animation is like they're testing the waters with the different sagas for the One Piece anime.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna probably catch up on it again, but I mean the manga is so hype in the sense of what's been going on. It's just like my focus can't be on anything else in that perspective. So it's just like. Our minds are getting blown on like what's going on in the One Piece world. So I was like, okay, we'll see where they go from there. But yeah, so My Hero Academia, One Piece. I think there's some stuff on High Dive, but I don't know if there's anything specifically exclusive there. I will say this, shout out to the South American bros. I feel you, because you're not able to watch Bleach because of Disney.
What?
Yeah, because since, we do know that Disney owns the rights, or the streaming rights to Bleach, right?
Okay.
They actually fought for getting Bleach, which that's a big thing, because I don't think Disney's ever, fought for any anime to begin with. It's not a big thing on their platform, right? But the fact that they actually put in a bid to get Bleach in the first place, which we have now via Hulu, at least in the US, right? I don't know, I think it's Disney Plus or some other kind of form of Disney globally elsewhere, right? But it's a shame because not everybody gets to be able to see it. And essentially they're sailing the seven seas going on them pirate sites.
Well, if you have to, you have to.
Yeah, it's just like, it's sad, but this is what comes with the whole thing with the IP and all that kind of stuff. But granted, alright, I know this is kind of like crapping on some of the studios and the IPs and Viz and whatever, but it's just like they did a pretty terrible job of advertising Bleach. But everybody was going to be watching it anyway because of how big it was, right? So But at the same time, I feel sorry for my, international bros, as they would say in Japanese, Kaigai Nikis.
Sad. They can't share in the just the experience.
Exactly. But I mean, at least officially and legally, in a sense, right? So, but I heard that the English dub of 1,000 Year Blood War is coming out soon. I don't know when. It might be the end of this month or something.
Okay.
But I guess some people, grew up on the dub and they're willing to wait for that. Whereas for me, I grew up on the sub, so I'm like, okay, watch however you want to. I know there's always that flame wars between sub and dub. But
Yeah.
But I will say in that comment, because one thing I noticed as I'm learning Japanese is that even if it's subtitled, there will be some things that you
lost
miss.
in translation.
Yeah, because they're not really translating properly. There's a lot of examples of that, but when I hear it, so I'm like, okay, subtitles. At least still, I don't know who owns the rights to that here in the U.S. or whatever, but it's obviously somewhat biased, and it's it's a sad thing to see, but. If you take the effort to learn Japanese for something, then you don't have to worry about that. It's just like, okay,
maybe someday.
Yeah.
When I have time.
I will say that Rosetta Stone has been coming in handy. As long as you keep up with the lessons.
This is the plug for Rosetta Stone.
Shout out to Rosetta Stone. Maybe you want to sponsor this guy right here, but But yeah, I mean, because I've tried Duolingo.
I've tried that.
Yeah.
It didn't quite work.
Exactly. It didn't stick with me.
I'm sorry. It just didn't.
Yeah. It didn't stick with me as much as like how I do with Rosetta Stone, from my experience. But that's the way that the lessons are probably portrayed or given out or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'm able to read more katakana and hiragana, whatever. It's just a kanji, like I mentioned before. That's going to take quite a bit of learning because it's like a combination of various characters or whatever. But yeah, I'm just getting there. But back to the subject in the sense of however you prefer to watch, enjoy it the way that you want to watch, right? I have no qualms about that, but some people are adamant about saying, "Oh, this is better than that," and so on and so forth. Who cares about that? If you enjoy it the way you enjoy it,
there's always gonna be different camps.
Yeah. For me personally, I'm like, okay, I need to hear the original Japanese voice acting, and because I mean, you have to go to a school for that over there. I don't know about here specifically because we have like acting schools here, but they have specific voice acting schools there. You gotta get certified, and even then, you gotta cast your roles and so on and so forth. But you'd be lucky to be able to get that even then. It's very competitive over there, given the Japanese media kind of thing. So, but yeah, I mean, outside of that, that's what's going on in the anime world, and just trying to catch up on whatever I can and whatever I have in my plan to watch list on my anime list, right? So, but outside of that, that's about it for the anime world. But
yeah, so until next time, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and yeah.